to get that done.
Okay, I'll
But if
also
you do
send you the worksheet from yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I saw quite a few had done it and quite a few have not. I think Chef Cliff got the majority of them, but I did get some of them, and I did report to him who texted me on the quizzes yesterday. Matthew, thank you for doing it again. Got it. So so I've got a record of all the stuff. Yesterday I went through it. Not quite a few of the other stuff. So I want to make sure that you all touch base and make sure you get onto it, because this is the last week. Remember, the project is due next week, to make sure that we are all in it together to understand what your dream or your thought is about the project of what you put out. 9 recipes, remember? And reporting on them. You're going to have 5 minutes to tell us what your thought process is, because sometimes I can say a dream, but I can also say a thought process of what you want to go to gear towards to make it work, to kind of give us an idea, and then holding on to the cost factor of the whole initial thing. A lot of you came to at 30% on food cost. You know, sometimes the 30% doesn't bother me so much, is because the quality of the food, you know, the cost of things today are so much higher than any other day, you know, than the times before. So controlling something and bringing it together to make it more healthier, quality, also, so it doesn't really bother me to do 30%. There's some items that could have been a little bit less if they didn't have other items added to the food. So kind of look at the whole picture of what you're giving, and in return that you're getting, your restaurant or whatever your venue is doing. So it's really concentrating on price control and the quality of product. Remember, the first thing of all of it is what quality are you using? What quality product you are using. If you're going to gear towards healthy food, fish is not cheap, I promise you. And so you can understand that by going it up. I think somebody sent me a vegan recipe, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Loretta. She's not here yet today, is she? Loretta, are you here? She sent me just the main item without the sides. And so you need to make sure that it comes to a circle of, when you do the plate presentation, of starches and vegetables also. Just not the main item at 30% is pretty steep then. So anyway, anybody have any questions? Roro, it's about time you showed up.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. How's everybody today? Jose, great. You're here today. Good to see you. Robert. Ivan. Good morning. Had a rough night? Waking up, everybody? Did you all enjoy yesterday? How about 95 degrees yesterday, or 96? What did you all think about that? And it's only the beginning of May. What's going to happen for the rest of the summer? Kind of warm. Good morning, Kendricks. To make sure. Andre.
Yo, Chef, what's up?
What's up with you?
You already know we here.
Okay. Marcel. So make sure.
Chef, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, great. I was
So,
having issues.
okay. Good morning. Anything to say, Chef Cliff?
Good morning. How's everybody? Good. I see a lot of nodding heads. Very nice. If you did not send it to me and you sent it to Chef Pablo, that's fine. But if you have not sent it to me and you're sending it to me today, I'm going to have, it's going to be 5 points off. So every day, 5 points off until you give it to me. All right. So I want to make sure that everybody sends it to me, but just send it to me today and we'll have only 5 points off. All right. Cool. Thank you. Chef Pablo.
Did you get a lot of them yesterday?
I did. I think I own the.
I gave you a list too.
Yeah. I only have a few.
Yes, Chef. Chef.
Rock and roll.
Okay, did anybody have a question? Roro, was that you?
Yes. What is it y'all needing? What's the assignment that you needing?
This assignment was for yesterday. It's on the portal. It's let me share. Hold on.
Is the yield.
It's a yield.
It is for calculating the yield of EP portion. And just a quiz, just one quiz. Pretty easy, five questions. And just figuring out the yield. If you look at, Roro, if you look at yesterday's
The video.
class, the video, that will help you a lot on how to get that one page done.
There it is.
Right
bro.
there, right there.
Okay.
It's like got 5 questions.
Yep, it's pretty simple.
Okay.
Just look at that and
Get it.
yeah, and that kind of tells you what it is and kind of helps you bring it all the way around. Thank you for the ones that did it. I appreciate it. Making sure that we have okay. So day 14. Really, we kind of keep just kind of going over a lot of the stuff that that we've really talked about. The food costs, the cost percentages, the contribution margin of what we are doing, the menu prices. How do we determine what menu prices are all about? We've really talked about that already for a lot of different things that in the last couple of days. Remember, the menu that you have, you want to make sure that you're making a profit and not losing money. Remember, what was the key things about even food cost or the success of a restaurant is utilizing all the product that is brought into the house and to make it work. The food cost beginning inventory and purchases, ending inventory in order effectively calculates this. You need to keep inventory. Your food cost over a set period of time is a total value of food items, your inventory at the beginning of a period, plus the value of any purchase you made, minus the total value of the food items, your inventory at the end of the period. How we've already kind of said that we need to be on top of every day that we are. How many customers come in the restaurant, how much food goes out. Remember yesterday we talked about yield. How important is yield in a restaurant, in your restaurant or in your food truck? It doesn't really matter. Making sure that you're on top of every day that goes out. Your inventory a week ago had a total of 5,650. You made $1,720 worth of purchases that week. The inventory value has a value of $4,800. How much do you have of food costs? To determine food costs, you start with the initial inventory of 5,600 and add your purchases of 720. Then subtract your current inventory, which is 480, 4,800. 5650 plus 1720 equals 4800. I'm just walking through it. Equals 2,570, which is how much you spent on food for the week. You really need to do weekly inventory to know where you stand. Remember, we've said, be on top of it, don't go behind it. If you let it go 2-3 weeks, you're going to be in a hole. You need to be aware, you as a leader need to be aware of where your restaurant is at all times to make things work. But then again, if you hire somebody that does the storeroom receiving, he should help you with some of those numbers. In a small business and you run it yourself and as somebody else, then it's up to you to make sure that everything is on top of each other. The food is great, the service is fabulous, the restaurant is busier than ever. That is our dream. But are you wondering why the bottom line isn't what it should be? Check your food cost. Key to the success of any restaurant is directly impact on profitability. The profitability restaurant typically generates 28 to 35% food cost. We learned a little bit yesterday about how do we get to that 30%. Compiled with labor costs, expenditures, and expenses consume 50 to 75% of the sales because of the impact of the food cost makes on an operation. Food cost is one of the first things we examine when a troubled property. Beyond the bottom line, food cost also reflects on the operation of the food quality, the value provided to the customer, and the management skill level. How do we interpret and what do we want to show? Despite the importance of many restaurant managers do not calculate food costs correctly. And if they do so, they do not fully understand the process. Sometimes chefs come in there and their whole idea is a dream of that plate or that menu. They have no concept sometimes of totally breaking down each item like we did the other day to cost everything that you see out. Even that piece of parsley, even that anything that you're going to use, pinch of salt. Their dream is to make that plate right there. That's what I want. But he doesn't understand that food cost on that plate might be 37%. Now, if you're in a country club, you can possibly do it. But you can't do it in a small restaurant. Unless you probably sometimes are in a high-end restaurant that other menu pieces carry over to make that bloom. You have to really think about the whole picture. The ratio can be compared to industry averages and previous performance. with an accurate food cost, steps can be taken to improve the operation and ultimately help your savings and improve the bottom line. So, quality ingredients, making sure that we're all in line for all of it. If we have problems with the front of the house or whatever, we can always nip it in the bud to make it work. The following step-by-step methods for calculating food cost. We've gone over it over and again. Calculating food costs, keeping in mind that you want eventually to compare the food cost and the industry averages. Walk around where you are, where you want to be. Where are you opening? The surrounding of other food. Don't be overpriced. But people might want to come to you because of your flavor and taste, and don't worry about the extra dollar sometimes. How many times have any of you, I know you've been to a restaurant to eat, I know. Have you been because you go back to that restaurant because you love that meal? How many? None of you? Wow. And you don't mind paying that little extra dollar to get what you want and need. It's your kind of place, your kind of thing. And understanding that the proprietor of that restaurant is really trying to prove good food, sometimes you have to pay a little bit more. But I'm just going to use a phrase. If your chicken fried steak or your taco is $1 more, what would you say that you could say if it is $1 more compared to somebody that is your neighbor? US, you know, when you're buying meat, the initials are what at USD, what do they call it? USD approved? What is that, Jeff?
USDA.
Approved. If you put
Yes.
that on the menu, sometimes it does make a difference with certain people. How about the word organic? I think that people just re-emphasize that all the time.
Chef, could you slap the word like house made on that?
Yep, that's another good one.
Okay.
You know, some people even put my grandma's recipe. How many times have you seen that on a menu?
I use my mom's recipe.
Yeah, do you see what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
So you could say, coming from old culture, feeling the vibe of new food. What do I love? Jonas over there, he's going to be making tacos, but it's his blend of tacos. He's experimented. He knows what he wants. The food cost might be a little bit high on some of the products he's using, or he's getting because it is a high-end product. Does anybody else in that town making what he's going to be making? Might not. I'm sure he's going to be approved for the type of meat that he uses because he's got to verify the cost. Why is it a little bit more costly? Quality. There might be a couple of items that are low key and doesn't cost as much. Blending it all together. Being at a farmer's market, healthy. Your boots are not cheap. You've got to pay the rent. not only give you the food, just think about the rent, the electricity of bringing it all together. The food is really the most important part, but if you don't have the other, you can't carry through. Keeping in mind, you want to eventually compare the food costs all the way surrounding around you for the industry averages. How you determine the numbers must be consistent with the industry practices. A handbook available from the National Restaurant Association. The system clearly identifies what items are included in each part of the food cost. Food cost equals food sales divided by food sales. General guideline, establish a specific time period for analysis. The food sales and cost should be generated during the set accounting time period. 28 days. Juices, coffee, soda, supplies, and other non-alcoholic beverages sales are included in the cost calculations. Some people have a killer coffee and they promote that. Some people have a healthy drink, a slush. Could be a morning slush. You could be someplace near where people run healthier, that they can drop in after they've done their morning run and get the slush. I'm sure they're not going to get a shake on the way from coming back from running. Remember where you are. Working with the accountants and managers, set the regular time frame to analyze food cost. Make it a monthly meeting. It is crucial that the elements of the food cost calculation, sales, inventory, and purchases are represented at this period of time. Don't fool around with money and making things work. 2, sales, food sales. This is relatively an easy part. Total of the customer's checks at the report of a point of sales. Registers make sure that all include sales generated from the food sources. A beverage or any other income account. Remember your sales generated within the allotted time frame. Remember, 27 days. So maybe you should look at the example of the food sales that day. Food sales, juice, soda. All included was $18.50. Food cost sales. The cost associated with food sales are comprised of purchases of inventory and level adjustment. Inexperience, this part of calculation is often calculated incorrectly. Determining the amount of purchase of the time period, straightforward. Today, all food purchases, including delivery charges. Don't you think that Benny Keith that backs up into our driveway at the school or any restaurant, you think they're delivering all that food free? They sure aren't. There's a service charge for delivery. So every truck that comes to your place or your restaurant, your venue, has a delivery charge. A standard delivery charge according to the price that you bought, the things that you buy. It's all encountered in that. Ivan, get on, please. Victoria, Roro, Total of food cost purchases include delivery charges and non-alcoholic beverages. Example, food purchases in the past 28 days. Equally important are often not included determining food cost of sales. Inventory adjustments. Many restaurants consider only purchases and determining food cost. Does not create an accurate food cost percentage. Depending on the day of purchases and made and what our cut off date is for including sales in the food cost calculation. Your food cost should appear 5 to 6 points higher or lower than it is. Additionally, this discrepancy makes it difficult to compare the track of food cost. For example, suppose you receive purchases of all your dairy and meat products on Thursday and prepare for the weekend. The next period of determining food costs ends on Friday. The next day, in the calculating your food costs appears much as higher than last month. While the increase may be due to the theft or any other operational issues, most likely is due to the calculating your food cost inconsistently and incorrectly. People jump to the first conclusion, somebody's taken it. Give the people you work with credit. Respect them. And don't jump to conclusions. I mean it. Your purchases reflect a large Thursday delivery. However, you do not log in the sales from that weekend to offset the purchases, making your food costs appear out of line. Additionally, you have not factored in the inventory adjustment that we're talking about. It does make a difference. Make sure you realize your inventory adjustment for productivity to include inventory. Conduct the inventory of the dining room, services, production areas a few times. Average the inventory levels, use a consistent figure each time period, and add the estimated figure of the physical count in the storeroom. Make sure it's done on the same day and revolving time. Now that you have an ending inventory period, inventory level, next one, Chef. Next one. I'm past it. That one. Now that you have an ending period inventory level, look at the change from the beginning start time period, inventories, kitchen and storeroom. The key to accurate description determination is understanding the role inventory level plays. For example, in the beginning of inventory, it is valued at 100. In 4 weeks later, the ending inventory period, it is valued at $75. There's a $25 difference. The increase in the food sales because you used $25 worth of product that did not replace it with a new purchase. We're talking about spices, we're talking about oil, we're talking about different things, or even cooking wine. Think about that. You have to use some product to make money. You've got to have, something's got to go off the shelf that you're using it to adjust your inventory. Considering this change, the effects can cost of food sales. Apply the difference to the total purchase of for the time period, giving you the total cost of food sales. The cost of food sales equal purchases plus inventory minus the inventory. Add if beginning inventory, ending inventory, and subtract if beginning inventory with the ending inventory. Example, purchases were 500, beginning inventory was 750, ending was 625. So what are you going to do? $500 plus 125 equals 625 cost of total food sales. Food percentages. We had a workout sheet yesterday. For me, like I said, 30% is not bad for quality of food. Some restaurants have some items that are a little bit higher, but that's what people come in the door for. Is your uniqueness, your flavor, and what they want to eat. So some of those items might have to be a little bit higher. Look at the overall picture of why your customers want to come to see you. You can scratch your head. You can do anything you want. Final step, putting the numbers together. For example, food cost at 625 divided by 180 is 33.8%. How do you have a basic step to complete your own food cost accuracy and consistency with industry practices? 33%, a little bit steep. Well, what's on that plate? There's some items on your menu should be around 25%, 26. That's kind of really going too low. On the average, it's probably 28%. I've seen it at 26. And some of the people love that menu. To make it work. Remember I told you about before, going into a bakery, buying a croissant versus a macaroon or a macaron. Look at it. If you didn't have a croissant, they might not come in there because all these people run in there to get a fresh croissant. The cost factor and labor on a croissant is high and macaroon is low. That's basically how a restaurant, balancing it all out on what people want. You're there for the people to come in to buy and love your food. Love your food, your concept. Family come and eat, friends come and eat, but you need to attract the people around that neighborhood or that place that you're at to come and eat at your restaurant or your food truck, doesn't matter. Or when you're catering. People come to you when you cater because they said they don't have to worry, everything is taken care of. Everything that you do. Your name, Roro. Roro's doing it, it's okay. I know it'll be 100%. I don't mind paying her a little bit more because I have no worries. Same thing with Kendrick's. Randall's, I mean, isn't that his name? Randall is not here. Things that you cater, you pay attention to detail. Once you pay attention to detail, people won't forget you. I promise you. I promise. They'll keep coming back for more to make it work. Chef Cliff knows, he's worked the line and he's worked and been an executive chef. He knows people come back for what they like to eat. So don't disappoint them to make things work. How can you use a food product's percentage? The next step requires compiling the sales and the cost consistency and regularly as companions to previous performance can prove very helpful. Identify problems and trends. Remembering that a decrease in food cost is an important to illustrate for as an increase. For here is your operation is portioned to tighten their food cost by standardizing recipes. So we're learning now that having a recipe to follow every day instead of throwing things together really helps food cost, doesn't it? You're going back and getting the same amount all the time. Standardizing the recipe. Your dream, it can be your dream. It doesn't mean that it's somebody else's standardized recipe. It's your standardized recipe that you follow and making it consistent of what you wanted to work. Steps to create a target food cost for your particular restaurant. Well, the ultimate goal of positively impacting your bottom line. For profit's sake, inventory your food cost, always. Common food and labor cost percentages. If you're running a restaurant or a food service business and understand the most important cost under your control are food, including beverages and labor cost. How many people do you need on the line? Again. One, two. Do you want to be comfortable? Too comfortable? You want to be a prima donna walking around and say you own the establishment when you need to be back there working? You get what I'm saying? Really, that's where some of the money goes. Being able to compare the cost in a percentage format against typical scenarios of other restaurants, businesses to help the management of your business. Look around. It's your establishment. There's nothing wrong in that. Look around. Is everybody busy? Do I need 2 people in front? Do I need 4 people in the back? If you don't need them at that time, make sure that the time that they are there, they're working. To make it work. There's nothing wrong about it. It's your restaurant, your cha-ching. The leader of the ship. If you don't pay attention, it could sink. So make sure. Cost and varied widely on types of restaurant. Both food and labor costs are vary from the type of food service operation. Luxury restaurants will have a higher food and labor cost, impressing other people, or I'm not going to say the word impress. I shouldn't say that. That's not a nice word to use. the type of restaurant you're doing. Service oriented, needs more labor. Higher food costs because the higher end restaurant needs to deliver more. Kind of agree with me with that. The product sales mix, quality of food and service, pricing and hourly and operation will impact your food and labor cost. Furthermore, state minimum wage differentials and differences on tip credit allowances affect the labor cost percentage. The extent of beverage sales as part of a food mix has considerable impact on total food cost. Beverages always do, guys. Some people come into a restaurant and sit at the bar and have 2 or 3 drinks or beers or something with their food, a comfort level. It's like a homey place for them. Do you want that? You will get your regulars that come in all the time. How many of you have a place that you just like to go and just go to that restaurant because you're very comfortable with their food, love their food, and the atmosphere? How many people love that? That's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for those people that I'm not going to say the word depend, but know you're there when they need to be comforted. What a great way of interpreting your restaurant. What a great way. Comfort food. There you are, Randall. That's what I was looking for. Uniqueness of individual. So those are the things that we want to make sure that people realize and get to know. Costs vary widely on the type of restaurant that you have. We talked about that just a few minutes ago. Both food and labor costs vary on the type of service operation. Luxury restaurants will have higher food and labor costs, which we talked about. The product sales mix, food quality, service, pricing, hours, and operation will impact your food and labor cost. Beverage sales, remember we talked about that. How food and labor costs are calculated. Food and labor costs are calculated as a percentage of total volume of sales. If a restaurant goes $20,000 per week, and the total food cost, the cost of food and beverages is $7,000 for the week, then your food cost is considered to be 35%. At the same restaurant, labor including payroll, taxes, and benefits equal $5,000 for the week. The labor cost is 25%. Total prime cost is 60% in this example. So what are the ranges we're talking about? Certain fast food restaurants can achieve labor costs as low as 25%, while table service are more to see label at 30 to 40% of the range. Depending on the menu, the extravagance of service. Do you have a person as a hostess coming and another server coming to come and see what service you would like or food you would like? Depending on where you are, from food truck, elaborate food truck, to a fast food, to a mom and pop. And then we're talking about different kind of restaurants that are like, I'm trying to think, Cheddar's. And then we're going to a little bit more of a higher end, the steakhouses. It just depends on which level that you're at and what kind of service you're going to give. While table service are more likely to see labor in 30 to 40%, depending on the menu, extensively of service. Food and costs, including beverages for the restaurant industry, typically from 28 to 35% range, depending on the style of the restaurant and the mix of sales. Look at the prime cost of determined success. In order to make money in a restaurant business, prime costs should generally be in the 60% to 65% range. How that breaks down between food and labor is less important, and achieving a prime cost maximum that produces and satisfies profit. That one, the yellow one, Chef, thank you. So if one of the producers or sacrifice profit, so if one of the prime cost is a higher range and the other prime cost must be in a lower range to achieve profitability. Exactly what I said, one item being higher and the other item being a little bit lower. Cost calculations. Restaurants with the food service industry are business. They have to be able to make profit and make money over the cost food. Employees, electric cost, insurance, building and equipment maintenance. Chefs and bakers must be aware of food cost calculations, even if they're not one doing the accounting. Remember yield percentage formulas we talked a little bit about yesterday. To determine the product yield percentage. EP divided by AP. And the correct amount of production. EP weight divided by yield percent. To determine the actual cost of food served to a guest. Making sure. Does everybody feel comfortable about EP versus AP to get the yield percent? Everybody feel comfortable about that? Kind of really important. What about the yield? About each item costing what it's supposed to cost? Are you comfortable at that? I don't want you leaving the class not understanding it. Chef Cliff and I are at the end of the class. Would you, if you have any issues with any questions that you all need to know, please, we will stay on to make sure we cover everything that we have for you. I don't want anybody leaving not understanding a lot of it. Really an important factor in opening a business. And to get it. Anybody not feel comfortable, please. We're not here to say, I don't understand why you don't get it. We are here as mentors and leaders to make sure that you cover that. We're here for you to get it. It's really important. I want the hands up. Everybody get it? Jose, do you get it? Thank you. I want to make sure that you do. The yield percent of the food product has a sufficient impact on food cost. The increase in the amount of food purchased directly is an impact of cost of food served to the guest. Example, exactly what we're talking about yesterday too. The prime rib costs $3 a pound. To purchase 40 pound as purchased is cost of the following. $3 per pound times 40 pounds is $120 for 40 pounds. Prime rib roast. After trimming, the edible portion, remember what I said, it's not only in vegetables, it's not only in fruit. Guys, it's in meat. And sometimes that's what kills you. So listen to this. So if you're looking for special cut of meat, you're going to go to just regular place to buy the meat at a grocery store. And you're going to go home and cut half the fat off. If you're going to be a designated place where he's a butcher, you might be paying, I would say, maybe 10 cents more, even 20 cents more a pound. But you're going to be saving that 20 cents a pound in the product of meat that you get. Think about where you buy your product, where you buy your meat, or what you're going to receive at the other end. If you're going to buy it from Benny Keith, they have different levels of what kind of meat are you going to get. Chicken. How many times have you bought chicken if you've worked in the line and you see the fat on it? They go by weight. Think again, because they might have an upgrade that doesn't have the fat on it. I'm not saying a little fat doesn't make a little bit, helps a little bit. I'm not saying that. But think about where you buy your meat and your product. Scout it out. Remember, it's your cha-ching to make it work. So, prime rib roast. How do we get that? $120, cost of 40 pounds, 20 yield is left after trimming. It's equals to $6 a pound. Before, it was $3 a pound. Did you get what I'm saying? And after you trim it, it goes up. I wanted you to see it. So think about where you buy your product. Think about where you buy your meat product. The butchers have got to make some money too. Everybody is there to make some money. Yield percent cost formula. In coding and costing, you divide the AP price by the yield, decimal to determine the EP cost. EP price per unit, yield percent, price $3 per pound, 50%, 0.5 yield of the roast equals out to $6 a pound. The actual cost per pound to serve the guest is $6 a pound. The yield percent is used to determine the amount of food to purchase and determine the actual cost to serve the food to the guest. This calculates a crucial to success of a food service operation. Really. Videos on food waste and yield percent formulas again. Carrots are $25 a case, cost is $15 a case. After trimming, there are only 21 pounds of carrot left. What is my yield? Anybody can calculate that? EP by AP equals yield percent. 21 divided by 25 equals 0.84. And you've got 84% of the product. £25 to a case. After trimming, it's 21, giving me 84% of the product, the yield. What is my EP price? So as purchase price was what? $15? And my yield was 0.84%. Per case. Finding the price by ounces. Apples are $3.50 a pound. How many ounces in a pound? Anybody can tell me? First one.
16.
Thank you. Love it. Take the $3.50 per pound. Apples are $3.50 per pound. Divided by 16 equals 0.218 cents per ounce. Keep all the decimals until the very end. Keep all the decimals in place like we talked about yesterday. Examples of a berry cobbler. 0.21875. Pears are 0.31267. And blueberries. Total cost 0.94502. You can round it. Usually by the third number, if it's higher than a 5, you round it off. Do you all understand that? Rounding up the figure. That 1 penny will make a difference when you're calculating everything to make it work. Note, on menu prices, many restaurants try to maintain a certain food cost percentage. Let's say you want it to be 30%. That's on the average between 28 and 31%, I would say. I don't know, Chef Cliff, how do you feel when you did your stuff?
Yeah, that was about right around there.
Okay. So we kind of looked at the high end of the protein, depending on the protein that we're using. Remember, if it's fish more and is much more easier than using hamburger meat, or not to say that hamburger meat is not good, don't misunderstand me. Depending on what the protein that you're going to be using. The entree costs $3.50 to prepare, so how do you figure out the menu price using the food cost? So if we're looking for a 30% of food cost, we're going to take the item costing at $3.50. Note the menu prices, Chef. I think it's back up. You passed it. Yep, right there. Thank you. So you're going to take $3.50. That's what it costs you to put that menu together. And the cost, the food cost that you want to be at is 30%. Divided by 0.30 equals $11.67 for the menu. Kind of understand that? Another way of doing it, some chefs like to do an easier route and multiply the cost by 3. 3 times. $3.50 times 3 equals $10.50 on the menu price. Calculate the food cost percentages is $3.50 divided by $10.50, which is the menu price, equals 0.333 or 33 food cost. It's fine if you want to run a 33% on your food cost. Easy way to calculate it. Remember, the higher the food cost percentage, the lower the menu price. Remember that. The lower the food cost percentage, the higher the menu price. You wouldn't think that, would you? To make it work. Understanding a little bit about the menu today. How do we determine what we're using? How do we determine what we want to express? How do we really want to know, and how do we express the food that we cook? How many times have you gone to a restaurant and the prices are so out of whack and you thought people said they were pretty reasonable. When you got there, the prices are a little bit higher than you anticipate or your comfort level is? First of all, you need to see if the service is bigger or paying attention more to you. Or is it a homey kind of place, a comfort level kind of place? To understand what level you want to go to. What kind of restaurant do you like to go to? Somebody to take care of you? Somebody that makes you feel comfortable? Or a little bit more on the uppity side? But sometimes if it's on the uppity side, we talked about it a few minutes ago. Cha-ching. Some people don't want to go out to eat unless they're taken care of. How many of you go out to eat to be taken care of, to be paid attention to? Service. Some people don't care about service at all. They just want to sit down there and get that meal. That good meal that you're looking for, that you've been dreaming about before you got there. Because a lot of you don't go out to eat. We know Delilah doesn't go out to eat. Her mom cooks for her every day.
I don't live at home, Chef. I live by myself. I cook for myself.
Do you cook for yourself?
Yep. My mom lives in El Paso.
No, El Paso?
Yeah.
What a great mentor she is to you, isn't she?
Oh yeah, I love her
Of course
today.
you love her. You better. If I not, I'll smack you. Moms try really hard, even dads do. Really hard to make your life a little bit a better place, hopefully. So those are the things that we kind of have to control. Calculating formula costs. So let's go ahead and take a 15-minute break, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. 15-minute break and we'll come back and talk a little bit more. Kind of really going over a lot of stuff over and again. Come on back. Come on back, guys. Roro, Robert, Lala, Andrew, Victoria, Ivan, Marcel. Let's all come back, please. So we can talk a little bit more. Anybody know of anything opening up or any restaurants that are open? I hope you just go pick them up instead of going inside right now.
Yeah, I mean, I just
Attention.
read that yesterday and today are the highest amount of people that have been contracted COVID. It's getting worse in Texas.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. Yesterday and today, or yesterday, they had 2,000 new cases left.
That's like opening was a bad idea. Man, I wish somebody thought of that.
Yeah. Stupid.
Anybody know of I know it's a trying decision individually. The places that you work or laid you off, are they thinking about opening up in the next couple of weeks? I think the next opening or the next thing that that's probably going to do is May 15th or something like that, from what I understand. Is that right, correct, Chef Cliff?
I think so.
It's May
Belmont tells me
15th.
that they're trying to open in June, but I'm looking at everything right now and I'm thinking they might not even be able to do that.
Who is that?
Marcus.
What place were you talking about?
Hello.
What place was
Fairmont,
it?
Austin.
The Fairmount, you said?
Yeah, Fairmont, Austin.
Oh,
They said
Fairmont,
back.
okay.
Yeah, they said back in April they were going to try to open up in June, but looking at it now, it's like a solid maybe.
So am I hearing this right? You said there was 2,000 new cases in the last like day or two because they opened up, and you just sit here and said that they're going to start opening up some more.
Yeah, right. It's great.
That makes a lot of sense, don't it?
Well, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but you know,
it's-
you've got to understand, and I'm not going to defer any of this stuff too, though, but a lot of the cases that they're finding out are in nursing homes, Jeff. They
Oh,
are
yeah?
the elderly. So they're taking that into consideration that really, they really should have been the first things that were shut down and nobody been able to go in there. And they waited a little bit too long to shut them down to make sure that and people didn't go into the nursing homes.
Are those?
And
Go ahead, Jeff.
go ahead.
Are those 2,000 cases, Marcus, just here in Austin?
Oh, this is the first I'm hearing of it, but I wouldn't be
Oh,
surprised
okay.
if it was.
I'll post the article.
Okay, that's pretty
Give
scary.
me 1 second.
But a lot of them are the senior citizens. And you remember that, and I'm not defending them. A lot of them have complications and stuff to go on to make them get weaker anyway. They have other attributes to getting the virus, and so I'm not saying that it's a good thing to, I would worry about opening up. I totally agree with all of you. Totally understand. Maybe we can support them in another way of making things work and making that restaurant survivable for them to work. But people have to live, and that's a very crucial thing that, has to be taken care of. I really worry about the restaurants that really live from paycheck to paycheck. It's such a hard decision. It is such a mind-boggling decision to make it work. So we all as a family need to come together to make a decision on how we can support ourselves to make it work. And hopefully you all agree with me on that aspects of it, but it's a very tough decision.
I mean, I agree to
Individually
that.
and as a business. What?
I mean, I agree to that, but everybody's too focused on doing it the way that it was working before. Like, that's just not a thing we're allowed to do anymore. Everybody's like, we need to open up and get people in. It's like, that's not the way it needs to work. We need to find a new way to do it, and it has to be quickly, because these people who are still trying to open up and bring everybody in and do it just like it wasn't happening, like everything is fine.
No, I understand what you're saying, because now the world is, I'm going to tell you, dining out or going out to eat is going to be in a total different ball game, a total different world of what we're used to. Remember, our comfort level is really not going to be at that comfort level that we used to just say, can we meet over there at that restaurant at 2 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 9 o'clock? It's not going to be like that anymore. It's going to be having to think about that place taking care of you, meaning that it's sanitized enough for you to be going there, and everybody responsible of how to do that restaurant.
At least for the
And
time
those
being.
are the things that have to pay attention to. What?
I said, at least for the time being.
Correct.
To answer your question, Delilah, it can't be the Travis County, because this article, there's a million articles, but this was updated less than 2 hours ago, and Travis County only has 1,756 confirmed cases.
Thank you.
Yeah, the article is basically saying in Texas.
Okay.
Now there's 32,000 cases in the state confirmed. I mean, that's just confirmed. So.
And Matthew, how many people live in the state of Texas?
I have
Does
no
it say?
idea, but I can give y'all an idea that when I left a week ago, it was only at 17,000 because I watched it before we left. So
There are about 30 million people in Texas, and they've only tested a little over 200,000. So there's about
Wow.
1% of our population has been tested.
and those are only confirmed cases. So I mean, how many people have it and don't know it?
Have any of you guys been tested? No.
I can't even reach a hospital or anything right now.
Yeah, like and none of us have been tested. There's probably a whole bunch of people out there who haven't been tested as well.
That's what I'm saying. It's just 32,000 confirmed cases that they know of. And there's no telling how many
How
people
many
don't even
people
know.
that have it that didn't eat, they're the carriers?
Because you don't get tested unless you come across those points where it's necessary.
Or you think you have the symptoms?
But we all
How many
should go out
people-
and eat. Clearly, sounds like a good idea.
Oh yeah, gotta get a haircut.
I was by the Greenbelt yesterday, and there's like a Rudy's up there, like the only gas station, and it was packed with people for in like dine-in service.
They were
It was
doing
kinda weird.
dining at a gas. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for that. Who was that? So here's like a real time showing. Interesting.
It shows the state of Texas and where it is, really more so.
Chef, you can also click on the counties to get specified information for the ones that are reporting.
Oh, gotcha. Cool. Thanks, man.
No problem. I also posted a link to a really interesting article about the reopening of states here.
Cool.
Kind of makes us aware of what the surroundings are all about. And what do we do? It's very tough decisions.
Makes me wonder what the school's going to do about having all these students come up there and get their ingredients that they're going to be coming in contact with, which they
No,
cannot
they're
account
gonna,
for where
it's
the
gonna be all out,
students.
it's gonna be all outside, boxed up, ready for them to take.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's not, you're not gonna come in, everything's gonna be ready and all you're gonna do is pick it up.
Like contactless.
What do you mean by that?
Like contactless, like no physical contact between the two parties.
That's right. So they're gonna have it just someplace that you can pick up the box on like maybe, I'm sure there's gonna be tables out there in what grade, what class that you're in, and pick up the box and leave. No personal contact at all.
Chef, if this thing is getting worse as they reopen the states, like it's proving to just be a bad idea, for us that only have maybe 3, after next block, I only need my farm to table and then I go to externship. Are we gonna do the same as go to the school and pick up produce for our farm to table block?
Correct. That's what they're planning on doing is, I have a teach next block, which is block 4, which is the last of pastry. And they are going to be picking up the only items that some people are out of state. So we are shipping them the dry product and then they're going to be set to go and get the product, the other product from the grocery store, wherever they are at. But the dry products are going to be coming out of our storeroom. And there will be tables out there with your name, with the class that you're taking to pick up the stuff. I know Chef John and Chef Austin, if I'm not mistaken, and Chef Emily are doing farm to table this group, and for their class. I think that, so that'll be a big cooking class, and at the end, they will probably have a big banquet for everybody to go to, hopefully. It'll be at the end of June, and hopefully we'll start our new blocks in July, hopefully at the school. I think we're all ready to come back to school.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I understand that. but that's what the outlook is looking. Now, it's not promised, it's not dead set. Do you all get what I'm saying? It's something that we have to work from week to week and see where the priority and where we as a school need to be at. Doesn't mean that we will open the school in July. I'm not saying that. Did you all hear me? I'm
Yes.
just saying that that's what the aim or the growth or the plan is going to be. I don't know if Chef Cliff wants to say anything, but I didn't say that we're going to open in July. I'm just saying we're taking it from day to day and week to week. And that's how we have to look at this whole picture of what, but we need to have a little bit of a goal at the end to make sure that you're taken care of as a student, and the school is responsible to make sure that you're taken care of in understanding learning and understanding where we are for your protection and for all of us to have a protection of this virus. Do you all get what I'm saying? So I want to make sure you understand that. Chef Cliff.
No, you said exactly what I was going to say.
Okay. But you all need to understand that the school's priority is you, and make it what's safest for you to make it go. So it's tough decisions and tough things to kind of have to work with an ordeal. List of ingredients, calculating formula cost. We're kind of coming back to a little bit of a reality. But remember, support your restaurants around. If you don't want to go out to eat, then you don't have to. Each person has an own ability to pick up something and support the people that are around to make it work. And there are an awful lot of people that need a lot of help. And that really concerns me. Because we are the lucky ones, some of us, that really can live in a place and be comfortable and not have to worry about every dollar that is made. And I understand we're all going through hard times, every one of you. I get it. I understand it. List of ingredients and qualities and formulas are prepared. Determine the EP cost, unit cost of each ingredient. Convert the qualities and formulas to some units used for EP cost. Calculate the total cost of each ingredient by multiplying the EP cost for a number of units needed. Add the ingredients cost to make sure the total formula cost. To get units or portion cost, divide the total formula by the number of units. Portions, remember? Yield, produce for better accuracy, and the number of units, portions actually sold. Remember, you want 2 plates to look alike. I'm sure that the culinary world is basically the same as a pastry world. We want each plate to look like each other. Uniformity. Same amount of ounces. Are we using the scoops? Are we using ladles? What are we using to be uniform? 1 ladle. 1 scoop. Maybe 2. You've got to control the cost factor of each plate to understand. The cost to purchase the food determines the cost per portion, which is directly related to the menu price. The menu price is a guest perception of its value, are crucial to the success of the restaurant. What do you know? How to buy a car. A plate costs $3.68. Triple the cost of the menu is $11.04. $11.04 versus $11.95. Do you increase it by 91 cents? What is it? What is on the menu? Remember, the cost factor is 1104. So no one looks at the cents, guys. They're always focused on the first number. So it'd be unnoticed if you change it from 1104 to 1195. How many times have you been in a restaurant and the menu will say $11, 1104? Has any of you seen that versus 1195? Any of you? Have you ever seen a lower price in the beginning of on a menu? Anybody? Anybody at all? They always round it off, don't they? Remember, you're buying a car. It's $22,959 or $99.99. Always rounding it off. How about gasoline? That's a great example. You never see gasoline at $1.05 or $1.05. It's always $1.09, which is rounding it off to 1. Do you get what I'm saying? It's always an ending of an 09 to round it off. So no one looks at the 11 cents. Nobody looks at the cents part of the focus on the dollar amount. So it would be unnoticed if you changed it from $1.04 to $11.04 to $11.95. So let's say you sell 100 dishes of this each day. You have opened 6 days a week. That means 546 a week. You take 546 times 52 per year is 28,390 per year for one menu item. Whoa. Changing it a little bit. Think. How do you interpret your menu or your item? Menu mix is often used interchangeably to refer to the same thing as sales mix. However, menu mix are also may be referred to how the menu items are distributed in the kitchen during service. Menu mix elaborates the flow of menu items. So we're talking about a menu product mix is important. Restaurants must achieve the standard targeted food cost percentage. If a restaurant exceeds its food cost standards, profit may likely decline. Menu items sell at a variety of cost percentages, sorry. Didn't mean to say food. For instance, if you have a menu item which comes from the grill station, saute station, and fry station, then ideally 1/3 of the most popular item comes from the station during service. How many people run that service? How many people need to be there? The even distribution of production in a kitchen facilities speeds of service. If 70% of your menu items come off the grill and only 30% come from the other two sections, then your grill station is constantly slammed and the speed of service can be slow. Where do you place the people to bring in a return and service? has to be thought of. What is sales mix mean? Or a menu mix meal mean? Sale mix is the valuation of, how do you say that word, Jonas? You're good at this.
Theoretical?
Theoretical, thank you. Food cost. Based on total items sold for a given period, and compares that with the margin created from those items. The goal is to measure and compare two vital pieces of information. Your food cost percentage based on the items sold, and the margin, the net profit as compared against the cost of the food. Thinking about it. As chef, as we often taught, the food cost percent is at the end of it all. The most important evaluation of the business success. This is a misconception, a failed concept, because it is only half the truth and half the picture. Sometimes a high food cost is a good thing. Maybe even better thing than a low food cost. You have to look at each individual plate to what you're going to deliver. Remember when I said, and when you sent me your menu items, I said sometimes it doesn't bother me that your food cost is at 30%. So what is the key thing for that? Using quality ingredients. You're deciding on what you want to express. How do you display it? It might be that you need a little bit more of the different item to make sure it pops. Look at the plate. On how do you make it work? The primary goal of a menu engineering is to encourage purchase of a targeted item. Presumably, the most profitable item, and to discover or discourage purchase of the least profited item, high cost. How does that relate? But there are certain people that come in that want that high ticket price or item, sorry. To the end, firms most first calculated the cost of each item listed in the menu. The cost exercise should extend to all items listed on the menu. Reflects all the cost occurred to purchase and service. Ultimately, items cost should include food cost, including waste product and product loss. At the end of the night, what happens? There's some items you've got to throw out because they haven't bought them. Or are you good enough to recycle some of that stuff on certain different items? Think. What can be restructured in a restaurant, in a hotel, or wherever you are? Catering. Make it a special. Can it be refrigerated? And kept for the next day? including waste products, product loss, cost in-house butchering. Do you know a lot of the restaurants do in-house butchering? How many of you know that? And when you have in-house butchering, that cuts labor cost, or that cost way down. Profits go up. Yes, a little bit more effort. Yes, a little bit more time. Remember, when you own your own place, time is nothing. Because you have to work hard at your business. It never ends. Never. If that is your forte or your place, and you're going to calculate how many hours you spend there to get paid for it, you better give up now to be successful. Because you are going to have to give a lot. Later on, it can be profitable for you, but in the beginning, it has to be a labor of love, that you love to do it by working at it. Those who believe that low food cost percentage is more important than the gross profit will promote the items in the lowest food cost percentage. Unfortunately, these items are typically the lowest priced items on the menu. Example, chicken, pasta, soups. How much does soup cost to make? Not very long. Promoting only the low-cost food items will likely result in lowering your average check. What are we trying to do? Up it to make more profit. Unless the restaurant attracts more customers, overall sales will not be optimized. Making sure that we look at our menu. That means making sure you pay attention to detail. Low food cost and high gross profit are not mutually excessive attributes to a menu item. The second approach, called cost margin analysis, identifies items that are both low in food cost and high and return a higher than average gross profit. These items referred to as primes. This is usually no single method of analysis that can be used across the board on the menu items. If a menu item is commodity, like hamburgers, chicken tenders, fajitas, and other items found on a majority of restaurant menus, prices tend to be more moderate. If a menu item is specified or specialty, is unique to a popular restaurant and demand in high prices, can be higher than average because of the technicality. The restaurant has a monopoly on the item and until competitors copy them, put them on their menus, and higher prices can be charged. What are you selling? What is your specialty? What is your interpretation of the new food that you want to bring? There's always somebody sitting in your restaurant that you don't even know that can copy what you are making and doing. They might not get it all the way, but they will interpret it as that. to make it work. However, no restaurant can abstain a competitive uniqueness in the price advantages over the competition in the long run. Eventually, competitors will try to match them. There's always somebody lurking, and it doesn't mean it's bad. It's the world, competition. There always has a new eye for something, a new way of interpreting. What you think is a home run for you. Specifically, how many people have been to Franklin barbecue? Anybody? A unique way. Do you like his ribs versus Blacks or somebody else? Oh, what's the one in Oak Hill, the big one? The rib place, chef.
You got Kreitz's, you have
County Line.
Schmitty's.
County
you have-
Line.
Oh,
County Line.
County Line. Oh, okay.
How many people like County Line? I don't. No, I do like the one in Oak Hill better than the one I like at Round Rock. Has anybody been to the Round Rock County Line? Awful. But they're right next to the ballpark. They got location, location, location to make the money. But they did have to have a mothership that took care of what everybody thinks that County Line does. The pit in the middle of the restaurant, cooking their food, drawing people to come to it. Do you all get what I'm saying? Different aspects of different things. After an item cost and price has been determined, evaluation on the item profitability is based on the item contribution margin. The contribution margin is calculated as a menu price minus the cost. Remember that 99 cents or the 98 cents that we upped it, or whatever. I think it was 98. I think it, well, no, it was 96. To understand. Menu engineering is focused on maximizing the contribution for each guest order. Recipe costing should be updated at least the ingredients portion cost whenever the menu is reprinted or whenever the item is re-engineered. Some specified calculations and contribution margins include food cost. Let me tell you something about upping the price on certain items in this day and world and this age. They should always be a little thing on the bottom of your menu, guys. And this is what protects you. You as a restaurant owner, you as a restaurant leader. Big corporations like IHOP or some other company, they are there to make money also. But you as an individual guy should have a little saying on the bottom. The prices might vary according to the cost. Do you all get what I'm saying? If you print that up, if you can change it a little bit more frequently than you can if you have established printed folder menu. You get what I'm saying? You could have a menu that has a piece of paper that can be slid out and slid in. Do You get what I'm saying? A hard copy. Think about that. If you have that piece of paper that goes in and out, you can change some of the prices when you need to. Printing it up. If you have a hard copy menu, you have to really go send it back to the printers to be laminated. If you have a laminating machine at home, it's wonderful. But think, you're there to make money, and you're not going to lose it because you can't afford to have the menus printed again. Think how you're going to overall sell your restaurant and keep it going up in price, meaning the amount that you're selling your item for, to be fair to the people that are coming to you. By using a guest demand and a gross profit margin, the relative performance of each menu is determined. Remember the menu, the puzzle, low in demand, high margin. Star, high demand, high margin. The dog, low demand, low margin. And then the workhorse, high demand, low margin. What is our menu all about? Stars, extremely popular, high contribution margin. These should be flagships, all signature items. What are we open there for? What do we like? What are we trying to sell? The Plow House, high in popularity, but low in contribution margin. Sells well, but doesn't increase revenue enough. Puzzles, low in popularity, but high in contribution margin. Difficult to sell, but also a high profit margin. And last but not least, the dog, low in popularity and low in contribution to the margin. Difficult to sell and a little profit when they sell. Why do you want a dog there? Lobsters versus spaghetti. To illustrate that somehow high food cost is a good thing, if you sell lobster at 50% of food cost, the spaghetti at 30% of food cost, your actual food cost will be depending on the quality of each sold. If you sell a lot of lobsters, you will have a lousy food cost. But if you have a lot of cash, you will have a lot of cash. More importantly, you will have a lot more net cash margin. For examples below, 1,000 orders are served in each case. In one example, it is mostly lobster, in the other is mostly spaghetti. At the end of the day, you will rather have 49.6% food cost and a 23,000 net cash, or a 30.1% food cost and have 8,000 net cash. Give me the cash. That's 14,200 more net cash for the same amount of covers that came in, the same amount of labor. Wow. Thinking about that. understanding, breaking it down. Getting it. So sometimes items at a higher food cost, look at the food cost at 49%, sometimes bring you a larger return. Food cost is actual menu item cost. Retail cost is what you sell the item for. How do we know what food cost? It is just what we spend on food. Surprisingly, it is not that simple. The food cost for a restaurant is calculated by the percentage of what we get for the dish. Remember, food cost divided by menu item equal recipe, food cost percentage. Formula, food cost sales divided by food sales equal food cost percentage. This works at the beverage cost and sale too. We're just kind of going over a little bit. Think about the dinner party. You know what you paid for the food. $17.38 divided by 4 people equals out to 434.5. It really should be 435. The next one, chef. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Right there. That is all there, even if you're just serving soup. When it costs divided by how many people you feed, exactly the same way as if you're doing a yield on a recipe. The total dollar amount divided by the yield. Serving size. Chefs want to know how much it costs. Also how much they can get for the dish. So we ask what our cost as a percent of the price we charge. In a restaurant, if a food cost is $6.36 per person and you charge $19.95. You take $6.36 divided by 19.95 equals at 32%. Multiply 3.318 times 100, and your food cost will be 32% for your food. Everything you serve to the guest needs to be accounted for. Everything. Why do you think, guys? So when you go to some restaurants, you know, before they used to have the ketchup, the mustard, the creamers, everything on the table. Have you noticed you don't see too much of that anymore? Not because of the virus. It's not because of a lot of things. Remember when you used to go, and you used to sometimes also have the syrups on the table at IHOP or a breakfast restaurant. They're slowly being taken away so they can control their food cost. I think the only thing that's left on the table right now, sometimes they have those little jams and jellies and they buy what is the most reasonable, which is jam, which is grape jelly, and maybe strawberry. 2 items. They don't even give you a pick of marmalade like they used to. Have you all noticed that? Anybody? to understand what is put out. You ask for it and they bring it to you. I used to always see ketchup on the table everywhere we went. Did you notice that? Don't see that ketchup anymore. How about a barbecue joint? You go to the bar to get, or a little island to get your onions and your, like a little bar, and the barbecue sauce will be there. Cost control. The vegetable, the starch, and the sauce all need to be part of a cost of a meal. Loretta, she's not here today, but she needed to do that yesterday. Just not the main item or the protein. We needed the vegetable and the starch to go with it when you're accounting for a meal. That I was supposed to get on Friday. Some of you didn't send me that, please. I looked at all my emails. Please send it to me. The menu item that needed to be costed out, %. That was your homework for Monday, for yesterday. Trying to think where my clipboard is. I know everybody that sent it to me. Please do so. We must know that the whole dish, what the whole dish cost. If you have, what the whole dish cost. If you serve soups, does it have a dinner roll? Does the dinner have a roll, have butter? Another cha-ching. Remember, every factor makes a difference. If the item served with a dish should include, what must it include in the cost? For a steak, the cost of batter as well as frosting on or fondant has to be taken in account when we do cakes. How about crackers? Because I'm a soup person. How many love soup? I love soup. That's really my whole life, is eating different variety of soup. And I have to ask for a cracker. They bring me 1 2-pack cracker. So make sure, how do you utilize the extras that you have at your restaurant? Don't leave a case out for people to take a handful. Think of what is brought out. Catering, the same thing. How do you utilize the product that you have? Your profit consists of revenue minuses all the cost. Expenses, combined food costs, beverage costs, labor costs, fixed cost. This might be a negative at first, but can be characterized as a loss rather than a profit. As your restaurant starts off and goes through its growing pains, which everybody does, but your ultimate goal is to have a profit every month. Hang in there, believe in yourself, and motivate the people around you. You're the leader. Example, the total revenue last week was $9,521.81. Your food cost was $1,708.50. Your beverage cost was $1,091. Your labor was $3,548, and other costs were $2,474.34. Wow. Determine the profit, subtract all your costs from your revenue. 9521 minus 1708.50 minus 1091 minus 3500.48 minus 2475.34 equals $746.49. We're talking for the month. Can you live on that? Question. So both food and labor costs are vary from the type of food service operation. The rural luxury restaurants will have a higher end of food costs. We've already seen that. Cost percentage for casual dining as fast food restaurants. The product sales mix, quality of food and service, pricing and hourly in operation will impact your food and labor cost. Furthermore, state minimum wage differences and credit allowances towards the minimum wage affect the labor cost percentage. The extent of beverage sales as part of a food mix has a considerable impact on the total food cost percentage. Practical applications. Break off into teams. Each team will build an actual food Cobb salad if there's enough ingredients prepped. Weigh all the ingredients and put them on a plate. Cost them out and add up the total. How many places now that have you been that weigh your salad and your food? How many? Whole Foods. You don't have a salad that you could pile up things and walk away. Even though the tray is this big, it doesn't matter. It's weighed and sold by the pound. It's really reality. It's happening all over. Anybody experience that? And different foods at Whole Foods. Go down the aisle, those sneeze guards, go them down and load up your plate or your container to take home. What kind of food are you looking for? They have a variety of foods from all over the world. Counter help and sneeze guard help, as I call them, or buffet help. Look at their prices and see if there's competition for you. How about location? There's centralized locations in the middle of the apartment world, downtown Austin. To understand. I hope we're understanding a little bit more about food costs, how important it is to make your venue important. We keep going over it. And understanding. Taking everything into consideration. Everything. On how we can make it work. So please make sure you take the quiz for Chef Cliff. I would appreciate it. It's going to take 5 points off if you didn't send them yesterday. Pay attention and get that done. And I would like, I'm trying to think where I put my clipboard with all your names on it.
Hey, Chef.
Chef,
I already turned in my quiz from yesterday.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Make sure. Robert, did you turn yours in? Okay. Kendricks, did you do yours? Good, thank you. Please do. I did send the ones, Matthew, I sent that to Chef Cliff that you sent me yours. And Ivan, you send that to me. I sent it to Chef Cliff to say you did. Everybody that sent it to me, I made sure that Chef Cliff got it. Please.
Yeah, I sent it to both of you guys because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's all right. No problem at all. We're here as a team. Chef Cliff is our leader, really, to make sure that he is taking care of it. So please do. Dahlia, make sure you do yours. Delilah. Make sure you do yours. Homework.
Yeah, I sent mine to Chef Cliff already, Chef.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So make sure you all take care of what you're supposed to get done. Randall did it? Good. Roro, you'll get it done today. And I understand. So make sure that you pay attention to that. Work on your project, guys. We've only got really 3 more days. I'm excited to hear about what your dream is. And Chef Cliff is also. What else do you want to say, Chef Cliff, to the class? They're looking forward to hearing from you.
Let's see, let's get that project going. I responded to everybody that sent me something. I said thank you to everybody that sent it to me. So if there was something wrong, I responded to you. If not, if there was something wrong or that we needed to fix, I sent you something saying, hey, can you fix that, or let's do that. But I only had to do that with like two people, so y'all did good. I know that I did post another homework that we're going to be having due 2 days from now, but I've already posted it on the portal yesterday or a couple of days ago. So if you want to look at it, it's on there. It's costing out three different recipes. Scones, I think, like a brownie and one other thing.
I think it was a biscuit, isn't it?
It might be a biscuit, but and then I've got everything there for you.
Okay, guys, also please look at your portal and make sure you take the conversion quizzes or whatever we need to get done. Is there a conversion quizzes, Chef, to make sure that they get it done?
Yes, conversion quizzes.
Please make sure you get that done. Really, guys, cross the T's and dot the I's. Get all that stuff done. So at the last week of next week, we don't have to run through everything to make sure that what we're doing. Make sure you pay attention to detail. Read it, go through to make sure you get it done. Make sure that all the things that need to be turned in are turned in. It's coming. I mean, can you believe it's nearly 6 weeks? I mean, really think about it. 6 weeks, a big transition, and the world is changing. It's a different world of learning how to adapt in really hard times. And the reality factor. So pay attention. You're here for a reason. You're here to be at Escoffier. You're here to have Chef Cliff and myself understanding restaurant ops. Really the inside and outside of AP versus EP, running a restaurant, a successful restaurant. Really thinking about every possible thing that could go wrong or every possible thing that can go right, which is always our dream. Think it through and love what you do. If you don't like it, get off the pot, because this is not an easy business, guys. And I don't mean for you to leave the school. I'm not saying that, but love what you do. It's really, really important. Loving what you do. And you really made the first decision by coming to school, to loving what you do, to express yourselves. Remember what I've always said, and somebody else said, oh, no, it's not, that's not right. Well, we do like to be the center of attention. We like to be something that we make other people happy. We wouldn't be in this business if we didn't like that. How true is that? To make sure. So make sure you pay attention, all the stuff on the portal, please. Go through it today. It's going to take an extra hour. The more the weekend comes on, you don't want to do it, guys. Do it during the week. Get it done. Get it crossed off that list. So next week, when we take each person individually, and you better be all showing up, I don't care. Some of you have not been in classes in some of the times, but you better be there next week to show me what you know. And Chef Cliff, first of all, knowing what you know and what you've learned. That's the most important factor. How you represent yourself and your business to make it work. So if your sound is not working right now, work on it. You've got a whole 5 days to get it done. We don't call you. Some of your people that have the sound, it's great. You can talk. But some of them, the sound doesn't work. What can we do to make your sound work? We've got to get you all on to express what you want to do. It's very important. And it's an important grade. Do you want to do this class again? God bless us. You don't want to hear me again. So make sure that you get your jobs done and your classes all up to date. And if you need anything, there's some people that are not, some of them are not showing up so much. They're working. Trevor, for one, needs to figure out what we can do for him. Remember, you all are important people, important students for us. We want to make it work for you. Yes, you might have some hiccups, but we're there to solve the hiccups, to make it work. Not a negativity, but a positive feeling of what you're supposed to do. I hope you feel that and how we feel in making it work. So please pay attention to detail. Please finish all your conversion quizzes and make it work. Get your reports done and send them to Chef Cliff and the other ones to Chef Me. Menu, itemizing, costing it out. Send it to me. Because I went through all my emails 3 times. If you heard from me, then I know you got it from me on the other ones. Make sure you do it. I really appreciate your time today. I appreciate you coming. It's on a Tuesday. And we've got 3 days left on this week before we start this new project that we're going to be hearing from everybody in the next couple of days, this next week. So make sure you hum and hum everything you want to say and how you feel, because we're going to grade you. And we want to see you. And we want to have a voice. So if anybody has a problem, let me know. We'll see what we can do to get you together. Kendricks, did you hear that? Kendrick. He's not even looking at me. Roro, are you okay? Okay. Did you have to work
I have a question
yesterday?
about the homework.
Okay.
No. What homework was Chef talking about with brownies and something else?
It's on the portal.
Here, I'll show you. Hold on. Give me 1 second. So if you look on tomorrow, day 23, click on that. And you have the biscuit, the brownies, and the scones. And then you have underneath that, you see the price chart. So those are the ones that you need to cost it out. here's the price chart to cost out all of these. So basically, click on that. It'll download it, and it's going to look like this.
Okay.
And then you're going to use this price sheet right here. And the reason why I want you to use this price sheet is because this is what I'm going to be looking, or I've got, hold on, it'll take a second. So this price sheet, so where everybody's going to be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the homework. And this was just just a day early. So if you want to get that done before earlier on, you can.
And that's due Thursday?
That's
That
day
is,
23.
yes, Thursday.
Okay, that's due Thursday and the project's due Monday, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, business is booming.
Cool. You got it?
Anybody
Yes, sir.
else have any questions?
Thank you.
Everybody understand? Good.
Stop sharing. There we go. Cool.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I do have a question about this price chart. This is price chart 2. Is it like a savory version of this?
Did you ask, is there a savory version?
Yeah, like this one has like the sweets, so like cake flours, coconuts.
Yeah, this is only just for the
For the
for
biscuit.
that little homework section. Are you looking for this like?
Yeah, one that's got like maybe
For
like
your
price tags, other stuff like that. Just because
It's got it on the they're posted on that spreadsheet. At the very bottom, or hold on, let me share my screen again. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, so the costing sheet. Did you see this on the portal? It's if you scroll down just a little ways, it'll say costing sheet for, and this should. And then if you scroll where it says order guide.
Oh shoot! Where was that?
Like on the,
Because I have
So here are the costing recipes, right?
right.
Down at the bottom.
Mhm.
So if you scroll all the way to the very end of the 9 recipes,
and it
there's
says
an order guide. You click on that, and that's got basically, meats, cucumbers, strawberries.
All right.
Savory.
That's
Savory.
I just couldn't find it on the portal, and I was like, I have no idea where it was. So okay, that's good.
Yeah, no worries. And if you can't find a price, if it's not on this page, or let's say on that baking and pastry stuff, you can. What I suggest is just going and looking up a price on the internet, and you can just use whatever price you find on the internet, as long as, you know, I mean, just as long as it's, you know, realistic, right? I don't want some
Yeah, like, you don't want,
unrealistic.
like, one patty or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand there's some things that are just not in these, you know, in this. So I accept what you know, as long as it's realistic. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. That'll cover it. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, no worries, man. Am I still sharing right now? No, stop. Okay. There we go. Any other questions? No? Chef? You
Thanks
good?
for a great day. Go make it work and enjoy. And thanks again.
Yeah,
We'll
y'all
see you
go.
tomorrow, and hopefully there is more than 17 of you. Today it was only 17. Kind of a disappointing number. I understand some have to work, but sometimes this is an important factor that you've chosen, that you coming online. So make sure you please take time out of the day to be in class from 6 to 9 before you can go do anything else, and we appreciate that. And first of all of you, be safe, please. Protect your family, make sure you're taken care of, and make sure it works, please. Thank you. Thank you, Chef Cliff.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Hey, Chef, I have a question. I don't know if y'all know the answer to this or could point me in the right direction of who to ask, but these emails we keep receiving for these like live event demos through Zoom,
Yes.
are those just like voluntary if we want to
Yeah.
do them, or would they
Yeah.
would they count towards ambassador hours or no?
You know, good question. I haven't asked, but I don't think so, but I will ask if it is. I will
Because
ask
there's-
about that, but
Yeah, we got two. One of them's just like a seminar, if you will. You just listen. But one of
Yeah.
them was like you could do like the pizza thing where you like make a video.
yeah.
So I didn't know if maybe that counted because it was a little
I-
more like.
Yeah, and I saw that one. I was actually looking at it for like continuing ed class or hours for me or something, because I need it for my recertification for my certified executive chef. So I will look in. I'll ask Chef Robin and see if that could be part of ambassador hours, and I'll let you know. But they are not mandatory. It's just honestly just trying to keep people interested in food when you're sitting on a computer for right now. You know, I mean that's kind
It
of.
looks like break up the monotony.
Yeah, totally. But I will find out for you. Okay.
Okay, cool. See y'all tomorrow.
Yeah. Have a
Thank
great
you,
day.
Matthew.
Bye-bye.
Victoria or Marcel, they probably sleeping.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove them.
Is there anything you want me to do, Chef?
No, we're good. You know, you sent me those things. I think we're good. Yeah.
What are they gonna do with Cecile?
I don't know. I think we're just gonna get her to just watch videos since it's so close.
She told me she was doing that.
Yeah, since we're so close to the end, I would hate for it to. Oh wait, hold on. I just got an email from Shelly. I'm just making. Okay, so yeah, I think she just emailed Shelly. Basically, she's going to just be watching the videos for now, and she'll probably, I'll get her to just present, either just email me her project and not present it if she's not feeling well, or I'll make some sort of exception for her. But
I think, first of all, we need to take care of her because she's always been in the class when, in the beginning, she was there.
oh yeah, for sure.
That weren't there every day, I understand, but for somebody that's been there all along and trying to be with the class and then getting sick, I think we need to compensate her for that.
For sure, I'll make sure she gets.
Yeah, Kimberly wasn't there
take
today, so
care
I'm
of her.
surprised she wasn't there today.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, I'll make sure we take care of her.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Well, all right. Have a great day, and
Is there anything I can do, or